Hey, kinfolk, welcome back to Keeping It Neat, live edition, obviously. Well, not really obviously, I guess, because you wouldn't know this would be recorded if you just clicked on it and hit it. So, hey, you know what? I'm Derek, Executive Bourbon Steward.
I'm Nick, Certified Bartender. Welcome back to another episode where we're doing a live sip-along of the Cleveland whiskeys tonight.
That's right. We've got our Cleveland whiskeys out in front of us. And on top of that, we also have the Cleveland whiskey representative with us tonight. Steve Robar is going to come on with us, talk to us about the whiskey, the process that goes into it, because they have a state-of-the-art deal that they do with theirs. It's a rapid aging, totally different than the other distilleries that are out there currently. So we think that our kinfolk will enjoy that little piece of a little technological. That's a big word coming out of me right there. That is a big word. We're letting our people come in right now, and but we're just glad to have everyone here. I hope everybody got their sample kits. I got a nervous text the other day from an individual, said I haven't gotten mine yet. I checked out the tracking information. I try to send tracking information to everybody. If I have your email, I will send you tracking information. So if you're wondering where your package is, just use that tracking number and go follow it, and it should tell you exactly wherever it is. Come to find out, it was already in his P.O. box. He hadn't checked it yet. But so lo and behold, he did have it, so that was a good thing. So his package did get to him. I hope everybody else's, because seeing as I didn't get any direct messages or any texts, everyone must have gotten theirs, which is good. Now, if you did get them, you saw there were a couple of little treats that we sent to you in this one. We sent you gingerbread cookies, and we also sent you, I hope nobody tried to eat it and thought it was like a block of chocolate or something like that. Guilty. But we did have the little blocks here of whiskey infused smoker blocks from Cleveland whiskey. Also, there's a reason why we sent those out, and Steve Robar is going to talk to us about that. But what we're going to do is we're going to get back to you in 9 seconds, and guess who we're going to be coming in with Mr. Steve Robar. So stand by, kinfolk. Hey, kinfolk, and we are back after our little 9-second intro that I'm forced to do by federal guidelines. No, I'm not. It's just a selfless plug that we do all the time.
Yeah. I like your sweater, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. Yours is very festive too, sir. I like that.
Mine says I'm going to try to stand and not
goes. This is where it all goes apart.
This is where I crash and everything breaks. It says, let's get blitzed. But what's awesome is this amazing little gift I have inside there.
What do you have inside there,
It's
Nick?
for you.
Oh, it is for me. That's good, because it's mine. I have a kleptomaniac with me.
Yeah. So basically, we wanted to advertise. We just recorded a brand new episode. We'll be coming out to you next week on Monday, and it is all the different gifts this year that you should go out and buy for any of your whiskey friends.
Yeah,
whiskey
friends. Your whiskey friends.
Your friends that love whiskey.
The whiskey lover in your life. Other than a bottle that you can buy all the time, we're going to give you some ideas if you're looking for a last minute idea. That'll be out on Monday if I get to doing the editing, which I'm supposed to do, and I've been getting to.
You're good at it.
It's not a matter of good at it. It's a matter of I have to do it. That's one of the grinds of my life. I have to do it. Hey, kinfolk, welcome Steve Robar with us here today. Woo! Steve is with us. We've got people coming up here. I got to pull up this. So, Steve, tell us about yourself, my friend.
Well, I can tell you right now that I've been in the business for, I don't know, a little longer than I'd like to admit, but I know I don't look it though, right? As long as I hold the camera at this angle, I'm good, right?
I told you that lighting, it makes you look 30 years younger.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? Thinner, younger, the whole thing. But so I represent a company called Cleveland Whiskey. I'm really excited about it, being in the business for as long as I have been, and it's really the first opportunity that I've had to represent a bourbon. And I can tell you, it's really cool that I don't have any preconceived notions about bourbon, because, if you think about it, people think about bourbon, they think about what bourbon is, and they think about the aging process, and they kind of romance all that stuff. Now, the good news is I didn't have any opinion on that one way or the other. So when they told me and they introduced to me the way that they went about doing it, and it's basically, we're an innovation company. We're not a craft distillery or a micro distillery. We kind of invented this process called pressure aging. Now, there are some people out there that kind of try to do the same thing, along those lines. But, what we do is we adhere to all the rules that make bourbon, right? So first and foremost, you're going to be 51% bourbon, right? So we're actually 68% bourbon, 18% rye, 14% malted barley. So that's our core product. Now you're going to see with the Wheat Penny that we change that a little bit. But for the most part, that's kind of what we do. Now we're a high rye, 18% rye is really high, but because of the process, we're able to do that. And you're not really getting that spiciness that comes through. So it really adds really nicely to the taste profile of what we're trying to do.
Nice.
Secondly, you're going to be from Kentucky. I know people think that you have to be from Kentucky in order to be a bourbon, but that's changed. I don't know. I think it's about 20 years ago or so, but you got to be from this country. We're from beautiful, I'm going to repeat myself, beautiful downtown Cleveland, Ohio. So
there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, so if this is taped, if you could send a copy of it so I can send it to my company so they realize that, I am pushing Cleveland as well as the bourbon.
Well, that's what we are here with the Cleveland whiskey tonight, everyone. Yeah. For if Steve counted this as his hours towards work, this is for a Cleveland review.
Cleveland.
So clearly,
that's right. That's right. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
And thirdly, you have to be aged in new American charred oak barrels. But what they don't tell you is how long. Now, if you're a straight bourbon, that's different. You're going to be at least 2 years in the barrel. But other than that, they don't really put those type of restrictions on you. So we're literally in the barrel 7 to 10 days.
Oh,
Nothing happens. There's no color transfer. There's no flavor transfer. But what that does is we're able to check the box off.
Yep.
Then what we do is we transfer it to a stainless steel pressurized vat. Now, for those people, layman terms, pressure cooker, right? So what we do is we take that, we cut the wood into those measured pieces. So every block that you guys got are actually the measured pieces at which we put the wood. And we put it in a big tea bag for a visual, but it's a big whiskey bag.
Mm-hmm.
We drop that down the center of the vat. And then what we do is we use oxygen to force the liquid into the wood and extract all the color and all the flavor. Now, in order for us to do that, we have to increase and decrease both the temperature and the pressure inside that vat. Now, we go extreme highs and extreme lows. We go higher and lower than you ever could in an aging rick house, right? So it's not a gradual process, it's rapid. And what we're doing is we're actually forcing the liquid into the wood thousands and thousands of times. So I don't know if all those people that have a sample, if you're tasting the Black Reserve, that is literally the first bourbon that we came out with in 2013.
And that is the one that I think we're leading off with, right?
We're going to be starting off. So if everybody has their Black Reserve, that's the 50%. It should say right on your little bottles that I sent out, be the Black Reserve. We're starting with that one. That's what we're going to sip on first. And we're going to go down the line. We're going to go Black Reserve, the Wheat Penny, the Cleveland Underground, and then we're going to do the Christmas whiskey to finish out the night. So pour yourselves your Black Reserves. Me and Nick already did ours. We let ours open up a little bit because we're whiskey savvy dudes. But I know nobody else knew that because we didn't have a batting order. That was Nick's fault. I left him in charge of that.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. You know what's really kind of interesting, Derek, is that you are obviously a rock star and your boy is also, because that's exactly the order that I put it in as well.
Oh, nice. Oh, excellent.
So,
that's good.
So I find that interesting that you guys actually laid it out that way. Now, the Black Reserve, the reason why it's important, because it was the first person that, it was the first bourbon that we kind of entered into this whole game. And it was an oak finished product, right? So what we actually did was we took those barrels that we put it in for 7 to 10 days, we cut those into measured pieces, and we put those inside those vats with the actual bourbon, right? So put it through the process, pull it through. That's 100 proof bourbon. Now, let me tell you something a little bit about that. What we wanted to be was like Knob Creek, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knob Creek was the cat's meow in 2013. So we thought that, you know what, why don't we be that from a price standpoint, from a quality standpoint? We did 4,500 blind tastings against Knob Creek. We won 58% of those. Now, I think really the thing of note, and I think both of you guys, we talked about it earlier, is that Knob Creek ages their 100 proof bourbon 9 years in a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
24 hours in a stainless steel pressurized vat. That's how long it takes us.
I mean,
to age the bourbon.
Well, I mean, we get to talk offline before this, so we talked about a little bit of the history of Cleveland whiskey and the process of Cleveland whiskey. But we wanted to bring it to all the kinfolk, in case you haven't tried the brand before or know any of the history behind it. A lot of people, just buy the whiskey, you drink it, you go, that was good. myself, Nick, we do a little bit more background into it. I try to find the mash bills on everything that we might be sipping on. Obviously, age statements, if there is one, isn't really one with your product for the simple reason of the scientificity. But that's not really a word.
That works.
The science that goes into it and the rapid aging process you do. There's really, you can't put a age statement on it. Like you could say, oh, technically it is probably aged till equivalent of 9 years, but we do it in 24 hours just for the amount of expansion and contraction that's going on in that time frame that we're subjecting this whiskey to.
Right.
Yeah, so right. It's totally it's a different process, which I think that a lot of people, just haven't heard about before,
Yeah, I tell you what, it really is interesting. Now, when we came out with that whole process, right, you think about 2013, right, we're in introducing people to this process. We're coming out with a bourbon that really isn't different than anything else, right, because it's an oak finished product, right? And people are tasting and they're like, yeah, it's pretty good, but whoa, wait a minute here. What about the aging of the product? What about all of that, So the bourbon community was not necessarily, they didn't necessarily greet us with open arms,
Yep.
So then what we were able to do is kind of think about the process, think about what we can do to make it different and take it to the next level, right? From a technical standpoint, right? Because we're an innovation company. So what we realized is that 60 to 80% of all bourbon's flavored via the wood anyway, so that time that it's spent in the barrel, they're extracting all that flavor from the wood. Now the mash bill has something to do with it, but the wood really is the predominant factor in what really flavors that wood. So what we're able to do is we're like, well, wait a minute here. We want to be able to provide different taste profiles and different textures and things of that nature. How do we do that? Well, we simply just change the wood, So what we're able to do is we're able to take this process. Once we put it into stainless steel pressurized vat, we simply change the wood. Now, Wheat Penny was the next one that we want to try. And what's really interesting about Wheat Penny, our core mash bill and the bourbons that you would taste now for the Black Reserve, the blend, and also the Christmas, our mash bill is 68% corn, 18% rye, 14% malted barley. Now, what's really interesting about that is the high rye content, right? Because a lot of those blends have rye contents that are usually in the single digits. But because of our process, we're able to blend that in there, and it really kind of add a non-spicy characteristic to it, and add that, add those flavor notes to it that really complement whatever woods that we're using. So now now, do you guys have anything else you want to interject about that before I move on to
I'm just going to throw out real quick is everyone that might be sipping right now, if you want, put down in the comments what you're getting off of the Black Reserve, what notes you might be getting off the nose, off the palate. And then we'll ask Steve do you know what the individual profiles are going to be for each one of these? I mean, the Cleveland, the Christmas whiskey, it's a spiced whiskey, so we know we're going to get all kind of stuff out of that. So that's really technically not a true bourbon. But these other ones, basically what the nosings and palates or what we're supposed to be getting out of it.
Well, what's really interesting, Derek, you and I were talking about this earlier, and you used the word yummy.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, that's what I say that all of them are. They're all pretty yummy. So,
and the thing is, we've talked to other distillers before, and they say, one guy was like, whatever you get is what you get. He goes, I'm not going to tell you what you're supposed to get.
You know what? I always tell people, I burned the roof of my mouth eating pizza back in college. So, my palate's a little different than everybody else's, So, listen, bottom line is that, it's going to be an enjoyable experience, whether you like to drink it neat, whether you drink it in cocktails, listen, the bourbon category is exploding, for a couple of reasons, cocktails and women, right? You got more women that are drinking bourbon now so than ever, and they're drinking it in mixed cocktails more so now than ever, So, you go back 5-10 years ago, man, it was all about drinking it neat. You guys say keeping it neat, and that's cool. I get it. But the reason why the category is blowing up is because people are drinking in so many different ways now, So it's difficult for me to tell people what they're supposed to be getting. I know that at least when you're talking about the Wheat Penny, is we've got a black cherry wood. The black cherry wood is basically our number one seller. And We won 10 gold medals, 3 double golds, and 2 platinums. Now, the Wheat Penny, what's interesting about that is that it's the only mash bill or the only bourbon that we actually put wheat in, because we don't use wheat in any other mash bill. What that is, it's a 51% corn, so you got to be at least 51% corn to be called a bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're 45% wheat and 4% malted barley. So what's really interesting about that, it's the only bourbon that we make that we actually use 2 different woods inside that tea bag as we're drawing flavors from it. And what we don't do is we don't use a charred, because it'd be easy for us to use a charred oak, but we actually use a toasted oak. So what you get from the toasted oak is, here's some of the tasting notes that you should get out of it, is like you're going to get a little bit of toasted almond, you're going to get vanilla, and you get a little bit of caramel that you pull from those.
Good, you won't be wrong.
No, I won't be wrong. Vanilla and caramel are demons.
There are demons.
If we say if we say it's vanilla, nope, it's all caramel. No. That's what they say you're supposed to be getting out of it. So I'm glad we got both of them in there, because we can't be wrong. It's a 50-50 shot. I like it.
Yeah, there you go. But what's really cool.
Yeah, no, but this one, I nosing it, I definitely got the caramel off of it. You got the wood notes in there. I got a cinnamon spice going on in there also, kicking out the background in there. Now, when you sip it, the proof is coming through a little bit. It is 50%. You're getting a little bit of that proof, but it's like that nice, super sweet notes I'm getting out of this one.
Well, the wheat the wheat will add that to it. The wheat makes it a little sweeter by nature.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're still on the Black Reserve, so that's okay. We're still working on the Black Reserve. We haven't moved over to the wheat yet, so we're still giving our people a chance. We're going to move on to the next one in a couple of minutes, so we're still on the actual Black Reserve. But the notes out of it, because of the proof with the 50, that's coming through. But it's like a sweet note that's going on in there. But with that, the cinnamon spice and getting that brown sugar for me coming through on there, that caramel, vanilla, it is. Really, it's delicious, and I know we had talked about it earlier when I spoke to you on the phone, and I said it's just yummy. This one is just yummy. It's good. I mean, it's like a very nice.
Right up my alley.
That's definitely right up Nick's alley.
Yeah.
Not too
Nick,
high.
you like yummy. Yummy's good for that.
Yummy.
Yummy is good. Yeah, he likes a yummy. That's what he likes.
I got the sweet tooth out of the two of us,
does.
so I like all the flavors coming through with this. And as Derek said before, friends, we are doing the first bottle, so make sure to comment. People are starting to do it right now. Comment below what you're getting on the nose, the palate, the finish. What I do like is that it's fully coating my mouth, which I like, and like that just full flavor is just so powerful. Yeah. And I just love that, because it can sit in your mouth for a while before you feel like, all right, I need another sip right now. I like that a lot when I sip my whiskeys. So.
And it's got a nice oiliness to it too. You know what I mean? It's got some viscosity, which we like to use for a word.
Viscosity.
We throw around sometimes.
Can't wait for that shirt.
But it's that'll be coming soon. I'll have those coming out in a while. And after we get rid of the first batch of regular T-shirts that we have. Mm-hmm. But that nice oily content to it, because it's sticking to the glass, is running slow. So it's got some legs to it.
Yeah.
But can't say enough. I mean, for the process that you guys do, it is impressive, the flavors that you get out of it. Put this down, like you said, I could actually see that, put that down next to Knob Creek. I wouldn't be able to tell which one is actually, aged scientifically versus the traditional way, doing it through barrels in a rickhouse for 9 years.
Right. No, absolutely. I tell you what's really interesting. You talk about body. One of the things that people talk about, when they distinguish how long a product has been aged, is the body of the product, right? It's the viscosity that you talk about, there being some texture to it, some layers to it, and what I think that the one thing, at least with all these bourbons and through our product process, is that all of that's there. You know what I mean? It's not, it's not thin. I hate when people say it's thin. What does that mean?
Well, it's no different than, I'm on a lot of different bourbon blogs, follow a lot of different bourbon groups. And when it's mentioned, now I'm going to say it, the bourbon's smooth. Now you say that in any group, people get so upset about when you say, because they're like, what's smooth? They go, what smooth is. You can, if I tell you that's smooth, what smooth means, but people want like some smooth doesn't apply to when you're talking about bourbon or whiskey. Go, no, it absolutely does. But that's one of those, arguments that you don't get into with, I've learned through, trial and error. One of the arguments you don't get into is just the argument over smooth, the argument over is Jack Daniels a bourbon. You don't get into that argument with people. You don't. There's one other one too. I forgot what it is, but if it comes to me, I'll remind. But those are like two major arguments you don't get, because you'll just go on forever with people over those.
Yeah. Well, when I look at smooth, I mean, I think about how it connects from the body to the finish, because oftentimes when you're talking about bourbon, right, you're getting that bourbon burn, and if you want to get that burn, because that's what bourbon's all about. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that transition from body to finish isn't so drastic, and it connects. It's like connecting the dots, right?
Yes.
It connects the dots, and what it doesn't do is it doesn't give you that burn that's offensive, and people think for the longest time, if you get a high proof, you get 100 proof bourbon like the one that we have, that it has to be that you're supposed to get that alcohol burn, and
Yep.
we provide that, but it's a smooth transition from body to finish.
No, yeah, the proof comes through, but like you said, it's not in an offensive manner. It's not like doesn't come out and punch you in the face and say like, oh, I got some proof behind me. Like you said, it's a very easy transition. It goes nice to the finish, but there still is, you're going to get that what they call the Kentucky hug. You still feel that warmth that slides down your chest as you're drinking it, but it's not like, oh my God, I'm going to die from it. It's not that end of it where you can get in some whiskeys that you do sip.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to me enjoyably smooth, like you said, and it's like.
Nick, thank you for your insight, brother. I appreciate that.
That's why I'm here. I promise. I offer great insight.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
Insight,
perfect.
But it really does. Honestly, I like this more than Knob Creek, because Knob Creek to me has just such a bourbony flavor. It really just punches you in the face with it. But this has a more complexity to it. There's that nice spice in the background that somebody commented before. It kind of sits there, which is nice. It's not overpowering. It's subtle, but it's like flavor. It's a flavorful spice. And I don't like when a spice is so much like, it almost feels like you swallowed pepper or something. This just has those like nice baking spices back there. That caramel's in there. That oak is in there. I mean, folks, if you're at home trying this, make sure that you're also like, take a little sniff of this when you're going to sip. I just feel like they complement each other really well.
They do. I mean, that is the oak infused.
Oh, it's so nice.
I have used now. If you ever find these out, definitely buy. These are the smoker blocks that are the whiskey infused smoker blocks. I use them in my smoker. They work great. I like them better than the wood chips, actually. So I got a chance to get those when I was purchasing all these bottles for the show. At Mucky's, was kind enough actually shared this post on his website for the Mucky's Liquors. Thank you very much, Bill. Shout out to Bill. Bill's a great guy. Unfortunately, this year, because of COVID, we can't do the whiskey raffle that he does every year there. We did a live from there last year. It was really great. He's trying to put something together, hopefully, into this year. So we'll see, if he can get it together, and it'll be like a virtual. It'll be more like a Zoom meeting, I do believe, is his idea for it. But thanks for Bill for sharing this. We appreciate it. So what we're going to move on to next, kinfolk, is the Wheat Penny. We're going to get on to the Wheat Penny. Going to start sipping on that. So make sure you pour them out. That's where we're at next. I will light up the bottle so we know we're at the Wheat Penny.
There it is.
There it is. Yep. Wheat Penny is up. Now, the coolest thing about the Wheat Penny, honestly, not even the coolest thing, but it is cool, is on every top, the stopper on top of them, the cork, there's an actual Wheat Penny embedded in the top of the cork, which is awesome. And now you said the owner saved up for years or found hundreds of thousands of these things.
It's a funny story, I tell you what, as we were created, there's a great story behind that. He was a part of the Navy. His job in the Navy was converting salt water to fresh water. Him and his buddy, they had a heat source and a water source. They decided they were going to steal some fruit from the mess hall, and they made a bunch of hooch.
Ooh,
okay. They supplied their boat. And then what ended up happening, this ship, and then what happened was it went shipyard wide because everybody absolutely loved it. So, he did that. That was his experience in the Navy. And then he ended up going on and, he's a brilliant man. So he ended up, going on and being a marketing guru and, and teaching in colleges and universities and all that stuff. But when he was about to retire, he said, I'm not ready to retire, right? So basically took a pressure cooker, went downstairs in his basement, because if it blew up, he wanted to have minimal damage, but he went down there and and started the process, and and actually came up with this. But he's a pretty brilliant guy. He's got some great foresight, and having an understanding on where we need to go in order to be able to provide the best possible product to people. And but the Wheat Penny, so he's got like 10,000 pennies that he's been collecting since he was 7 years old, and you can imagine taking those and carrying them everywhere you move. It's like, what do you do with these things? So so he's in the game, and he decided he wanted to come up with a wheated bourbon, and he's like, I don't care. However, we need to include these in the package. It's going to be in the package, So it took us a while to figure out, to put it in the lid and all that stuff, But at the end of the day, it worked out. We're pretty excited about it. Now, what's really kind of interesting about the Wheat Penny product, couple of reasons. The way that we make it is totally unique to anything else that we make. But from a marketing standpoint, we actually call it Wheat Penny 1958. And 1958 was the last year that they produced the Wheat Penny. Now, being an innovation company, anything in this nation's history that has anything to do with innovation, we kind of grab a hold of. Well, 1958, not only was it the last year they created the Wheat Penny, but it was also the year of NASA. It was the first year of NASA. It was also the first year of the microchip. And it was also the first year that our home computers, yes, everybody, the computers that we use every day, was introduced to us at the World Trade Fair.
Wow.
So there was a lot of significance. So we thought, you know what, we're going to embrace this. We're going to take it and we're going to use that. And from a marketing standpoint, we think it's pretty cool. I saw a customer today. He's a new customer of ours, and he's been collecting Wheat Pennies for a long time, and he's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing with that? Why are you putting them on the top of all that?" So I told him I figured he's going to pop out the Wheat Pennies and put in real pennies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're really excited about the product. It's a lot different. Our mash bills that we've used prior to this have shown no wheat at all, and we've got Pappy and Weller and some real distinguished bourbons out there that use wheat. And you're going to see some affordable wheat bourbons that are going to be coming out. But the one thing is, right, what do they have to do? They have to age their bourbons. We don't have to do that. That's why we're 2 years ahead of the curve, and we're able to produce this bourbon. And I think I had mentioned it earlier about us being, or I might have mentioned it to you guys, but it's our black cherry on steroids. It's got that, it's got the almond, it's got toasted oak, which give you some almond characteristics and some vanilla and caramel, and on top of what our black cherry has to offer. Brandon, our master distiller, he says it's the best that we make. And well, I don't know. Let me tell you what, we just made a rye. He said that was the best. We just made it. So along the line, it's always the best that we can produce. But
well, there you go.
Yeah, but we're excited about this. We really think it's going to take us kind of the next level and kind of put us out in front of people. And it's affordable. I mean, listen, bottom line, from a retail standpoint, all of my stuff is the Black Reserve that you tasted first is like $34.99, $32.99 out there. And then my the other ones, Wheat Penny, and they're all $39.99. So we're kind of right there in the affordable part. And I'd like to think that we over deliver based on what our price points are. So.
I mean, you pack a lot of punch for what you get out of, what you're getting out of the bottle for the price point. Definitely. Sipping on this wheated, taking the nose initially, it's got it's a sweet nose to it. Getting like there's like a fruit note going on in there, like an orchard fruit going. And again, you get some subtle spices going on in the background. The wood's coming through again, but I think that, that's the sugar maple in there. No, black cherry, the black cherry in there, the black cherry and that toasted
the black cherry very strongly, which I love. I'm a big cherry guy. So.
Yeah, what's really neat about that is black cherry really seems to be the wood that we have that's predominant kind of through all of the ones that we have that are that really drive our business are all black cherry, as far as the wood. So our black cherry bourbon that we have is, like I said, our most award winning. We've got a rye that's out there that's a 95% rye, 5% malted barley, finished in black cherry wood.
Okay.
We've submitted that to 2 competitions and won gold in both.
All right.
So we're really excited about that. And then this one right here, which has got the black cherry, but like I said, black cherry on steroids because we used the toasted oak as well. So
yep. That toasted oak in there, that's giving you some of those sweeter notes in there too, pushing them out from the wood. When you do that toasting, the light toasting on the oak there when you're using it. That's really nice, man. I tell you what, that's really, it got like that bready note in there. Did you get that? I got
a little bit of the bready note. I'm getting that like allspice in the back with like a little bit of, it's like just honestly, like a little bit of pepper. Really, but there's something else in it, and I'm trying to determine. I'm looking at my like scent kits around us and stuff that we use a lot. I'm like looking over at them. I'm like, what is
buzzwords? Nick, grab for a buzzword.
Right? Please, somebody. I'm like, it's there. I'm trying to figure this out. It's
working on it. You're crushing it.
Focused.
You're in there. You're deep in.
Yep. Focus is good.
One of my favorite things of the night. Comment which is your strong nostril tonight.
Oh yes,
mine's my right.
Is it your right? You're right now. My left is killing it. My left.
Well, I've got a deviated septum, and as you can see, my nose is crooked, so it really,
Yep.
So if you look at me this way, it's straight, I think, but I'm not sure.
If you hold it,
I always tell that when I go in there for my pictures for my license, I'm like, all right, tell me when my nose looks straight.
Do they have to also hold your camera up tall too?
You're like, hold on a minute. Love it.
That's right.
Yeah, I really, really like this Wheat Penny. Now, you said that now I haven't seen it at Mucky's yet, but you said Bill had a barrel of this one, or he had something going on?
No. He actually, it was funny. The other day when you and I talked, I was in there and he brought in the Wheat Penny. So
okay. He just brought it. All right. Okay. So he does have it there because I had one comment going if they could get it there. And I said, yes, they can. I'm pretty sure that he had it. So, there you go. So, at Mucky's, they do have these. They have the Black Reserve. They have the Wheat Penny. He was running out of their barrel pick Underground. I know that I'd gotten one of the last. There was like maybe 2 or 3 left the last one I bought, and the Christmas whiskey they did have that too. When we get to that, if that's something you'd like to purchase.
Sorry, Jared Alves comment.
Which one's that?
Jared Alves just said not a banana flavor, but a ripe banana. If it's sitting on your counter and it's, when you smell it, that ripe banana.
Okay, yeah.
I can
Banana Laffy Taffy?
Banana Laffy Taffy. Are you kidding me? That lady over there.
I love it.
Well, we had a whole thing on one of our episodes where we did we sent out banana Laffy Taffies to everyone because that's what Bourbon Babe says she gets out of everything. Bourbon Laffy Taffy and Tootsie Rolls. And so we sent those out and we had a little sampling with it. We'd see if we could get the banana Laffy Taffy out of it. So it was kind of funny. It was a great episode, actually. Yeah. But
so maybe
Bill says that he has 3 bottles left of the barrel pick. So if you go down to Mucky's, there's 3 of those left for the Underground. So
Thanks, Bill. I'm getting. So you said bread earlier. I'm thinking like shortbread cookie, like a
cookie doughish.
Yeah, cookie doughish, like a sugar cookie. No, I'm going more the shortbread cookie.
Okay,
I got a little bit of that.
Well, we can pull both mindsets together and we can say banana bread. How's that?
Ooh, I like that even
banana
better.
bread.
Let's go banana bread. Getting the banana bread out of this one, folks. I like it.
I don't know.
Now you don't know now. Now you got him.
It is. It's like if it was just out of the oven, but it sat on top of the oven. Okay. It's those aromas. I'm getting that off the nose.
We're at that part of the show where I start stripping, folks, because I'm too hot right now.
I knew you were going to do it.
I either got to lose my hat or I got to lose my sweater. So I don't know.
I vote for the hat.
Yeah,
I vote for the hat
or pants. Too bad for you that you can't see the pants.
Yeah, you can't see the pants with our new set. So I'm taking this off first because this will release the most heat from the fake fabric that's going on in my Santa
You don't
cap.
even have hair. Look at
it doesn't matter if I don't have hair. You see these little short guys, they hold everything. They try harder to hold the heat in.
Yeah, they do. They work harder. You're right, Derek. They do. They work harder.
They work way harder.
I don't know if we have a ghost, but our cookies just went flying.
Really?
Yeah, they're all over the ground.
No kidding.
Unless Becca's kicking
Becca kicked him,
things.
probably. That's what happened over there. Lives can't do anything with. The hat did it. Yeah, the 3-ounce hat just send those things shooting off into space.
I'll keep mine on for now.
All right, you
The
do
ball
that.
up front.
We may be losing the sweatshirt too soon, people, but don't
Maybe.
worry about that. But so what we're going to move on to next, folks, is we're going to go on to the Cleveland Underground. So that is coming in much hotter than these two, folks. So this bad boy comes in at this barrel pick, 54% alcohol, 108 proof.
Well, I
You gotta read the comment.
I tell you what, I was not involved with blending this. It was actually before that I actually started work with the company. But I have tasted it, and I tell you what, man, they did a great job. I'm not exactly sure what the percentage of the black cherry and the sugar maple that they have in there, but I can explain to you a little bit about the process and how we go about it. Is we actually go in there with all of our bourbons. They're all 116 proof is where we start, you know, and then what we do is we sit down, we taste all of the bourbons that we have available. Now we have hickory, sugar maple, which is a part of this blend, black cherry that's a part of this blend, honey locust, apple, and Black Reserve. So what we do is we taste all of those. And then what we do is we basically, you know, throw it up to the mercy of the court, and we say, you know, like for Billy, we're like, hey, Billy, what do you think would work with each other? You know?
Yep.
They'll give me 3, 4, 5, whatever, you know, combinations they think that may work. And then what we do is once we do that, we kind of decide on what percentage of each bourbon would work in it. So it could be like, for instance, this is sugar maple and black cherry. It could be a 40% black cherry, 30% sugar maple, 30% Black Reserve, because all of it has to have Black Reserve in it because it's kind of the base of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they decide that, we actually are able to decide what the proof is between 116 and 80 proof. So these guys, they decided they want a high proof at 108. But what's really interesting is that through our process, 108 is really a smooth product at 108 proof, you know, and then using the black cherry wood is also is something that is totally unique to what anybody else does out there. So What's your thought, you guys, on that? Because I'm curious to find out what people think about this blend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's different. You know,
That's a lot different than those two.
Yeah, it's definitely different than the first two by by far.
Absolutely.
For me, I'm getting now off of it, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm getting like a musty note off of it.
Yep.
I'm getting some. Definitely, the barrel is in there too. Some char. I'm getting a brown sugar note. I'm getting a little bit of caramel in there, which I could be wrong. It's probably vanilla. If I'm
getting the alcohol. I'm getting that like nail polish smell.
Okay.
You're
getting the ethanol.
Right?
The ethanol. That's what I was looking for. I never know that name.
Mm-hmm. We got another person that smells like sweet maple.
Well, that's it. I really think that I'm not really sure what the percentage of maple is, but I would think that it's a pretty high because maple does come through in it.
Ooh, wow.
So what's really interesting is that we've since done, what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to grow the business organically. And Billy and those guys at Muckies were forward thinkers, they took advantage of an opportunity to be able to blend their own custom barrel. But when I started, I decided to kind of step away from the custom barrels, and I wanted to be able to grow things organically so people could understand who we are, and what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at our other SKUs like the Black Reserve, like the Black Cherry and Sugar Maple, which are the two main components that are in that blend, and really grow the business that way, and we've been fairly successful with doing that. I mean, we certainly could, do better. We always can do better, but I think that our blends now, having an understanding of what we are, who we are, and what we do is pretty awesome. So, you told me a little bit of what you guys think about that blend. Now, we have other blends that we have out there. It's kind of interesting. This past year with the COVID, you wouldn't think that our blends would be more skewed towards on-premise, but we've done a lot of on-premise blends, and I think a lot of that has to do with them being able to sell bottles from their locations now.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been able to, really kind of push business in that way. But, But what's really interesting is that, kind of the uniqueness of that. And we do have custom blends that are out there. And once you find them, you see them out there, jump on them because they truly are exclusive to every store that's out there,
Now, a couple of different people have, commented on this, what they've said. Some said that the brown sugar. One person, Richard Morano, said we have to sing brown sugar when we're drinking it. Another one said we got a dark pitted fruit.
It's my buddy Luke.
Luke, okay, Luke said that. And we have my brother Jared said that we have. He says gets a black licorice, which I can see in there. Also, I can see the pitted fruit going on in there too. It's got a lot going on inside of that. I mean, and the proof at 108 is honestly
very
almost
subtle.
Perfect. It's subtle.
Yeah.
It's not overpowering at all, which is so nice.
Yeah, they did a great job. I mean, it really boils down to the people that were, involved with blending the whiskey. And those guys, typically I look at going 95 to 100 proof, but I think, with those three specific bourbons in that blend, like I said, I don't know what the proof was. I think it's a little probably higher on the sugar maple because that maple does come through. But you also have that pitted fruit, which definitely comes from the sugar, from the black cherry, so.
I definitely am getting that maple syrup to start, and then the dark pitted fruit is just right in your face, and then it's ending in a little bit of a light, subtle spice, which I like too. It's almost like you're getting a little bit of a combo from each, but then this one is just it
has a nice roundness to it on the end. Like it's not any one specific thing. It's a whole bunch of stuff together, which you're all getting, which I like. Nothing is really like standing out more than anything else. It's not like it's one big cohesive mass that's working really well.
And when we talk about, like, when we're doing our reviews, we're always talking about, like, we love when there's like a complexity and there's like a lot going on in there. So it's nice that there's like you're getting this nice wave. Like roundness was probably the best way of describing it. There's just so much going on, but it's this every time you sip, you're going on another ride.
It is in and the thing is too, it's like it's not spiky. You're not getting like wham and hitting with this and getting with that. It's really nice. It's an easy flow from you're able to transition from one to the other, and it's nice, and you're still able to get it all out of it, which is amazing, really. I mean, and again, for the process that you do with the whiskey to get all these notes out of it in such a rapid format, which other whiskey companies are taking years to do, to get anything. And then it's still hit or miss because they have something that they, a whole section that batch didn't come out good for whatever reason. Maybe it was in the wrong place. We stored it wrong. It got too much heat. It got too much cold. It wasn't rotated right. So they have whole batches they can't use, and maybe they'll blend in later on with something else. But this is really nice. It really is, Steve. I really enjoy this one.
The more it sits too, I'm getting like a pat of butter, like on a hot toddy sort of style. It's it's delicious.
There's like there is like a butteriness, like a creamy kind of thing going on in there. Yeah.
I tell you what, Derek, you talk about all those things that it could be stored differently. It could be, all those things that affect, the bourbon, the finished product. Us being what we are, what you're always going to get from any bourbon that you drink that's got Cleveland whiskey on the label is consistency, because we control it. I mean, we control all of it. We're not the least bit, a product of what, the environment's going to allow us to do. I mean, we're able to, it's really interesting. Our black cherry wood is our number one seller, and has been for a long time. And I remember the owner of my company coming up to me and saying, "Hey, Steve, listen to me. We're thinking about changing the formula for black cherry." And I'm like, "What, are you kidding me? I'm from that school, that's like, you don't fix what's not broken." You know what I mean? And
everybody likes
10 gold medals, 3 double gold medals, and 2 platinum awards. What are you talking about?
Well,
and he goes, "Steve, we're a technology company. We're an innovation company."
Everyone likes to tinker, Steve. Everyone likes to tinker. My father had a moped. My father had a moped that ran perfectly. But yet every weekend he went out there and messed around with it, tweaking stuff. He didn't know what he was doing. I'm sure your company is different. They actually know what they're doing. But my father thought he was a mechanic out there working on this moped, and he didn't do anything good to it when he was out there tweaking it in his own special way. But, you know, it got him by. Hey, everybody that's drinking along, sipping along with us right now, break open your gingerbread cookie and take a bite of that and then have a sip of the Cleveland Underground. See if that opens up any other spice notes. You know, we always talk about having something with it, to go along. See if maybe this opens up some other spices for you. Maybe there was something in there you weren't getting before. Nick's over here mowing on crackers.
Yeah. You know what I do best. Is
I know you do. That's why we have our actual Cracker Time symbol of Nick.
There he is.
And there he is, Nick eating crackers.
And listen, I would advise eating the gingerbread cookies and not the wood chip that we sent.
Yes, that's a good safety tip.
Yeah.
Too late. I've had 3 of them already.
I can't control myself. I ate your entire package you gave us.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I ate the rest of the container. I don't want to be tomorrow.
I just realized I'm mowing on the cookie. I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
Ooh, now that I had that cookie, I'm getting that maple note in there that everyone was talking about.
Like I said, man, I'm looking forward to Billy. If you're out there, I'm looking forward to blending the next barrel.
Yeah, Bill, I tell you what, man, this was a winner that you blended out on this one, buddy, that you picked.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a couple of Billy's barrel picks that he has done from his store that he's gone out and done.
Well, multiple people said to Bill, or I think Chris Melendi just said, so, Bill, you did say that there's 3 more bottles.
Yeah, that's right. If he wasn't watching the live right now, I'm sure he'd be running down there, but that's on Chris Melendi's list of things to do tomorrow to make sure he secures one of those bottles for when he gets there.
The maple, the gingerbread cookie, I think really brought out that maple a lot more. I agree with you, which we've talked about many times before. Just so you know, Steve, that depending on what you eat before, depending on what, every day things change, your experiences change when you sip something. So, the gingerbread helped brought out that maple.
Yeah, that maple,
more.
it did open it up for me.
Maybe Chinese food would have changed your options too.
Yeah, well, maybe it could. I don't know what that would bring out. High spice in the background, but
Chinese food changes a lot of options.
Well,
Chinese food is like our normal tradition, post episodes. It's like a thing we have to do together. So we always make sure that we joke about it at some point.
We do, but really the gingerbread cookie with this in particular is bringing out a lot of those spice notes and that maple, the sweetness that's coming out right now.
I like the nose on it too.
Yeah.
I wish this was a candle. Can you make me a candle, Steve?
You know what? That's so funny that people say that about our smoker bricks. If you stick your nose in there and you take a whiff of it, people are like, "Oh my God, we should make a candle out of this."
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my
God. I could see that. That'd be nice. It's a candle I'd buy. A lot of people would buy it. Oh, dude.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, it's like that bourbon. Oh, it's that wood and whiskey. And
that's good.
Yeah, that would definitely be a candle to be burned. Definitely. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
That really is good.
But this Underground, I really like it. And like I said before, when we were talking, I like the higher proofs. I like the, but this one doesn't come over as a higher proof. It really doesn't. It does not coming through like 108.
No, not at all. I would never assume that. We've tried some higher proofs that are you feel like you're a fire breathing dragon the second you sip it. Right. But this is just, again, hate to go back to it, but it is smooth. It's nice. And the Kentucky hugs aren't even that big. No. You feel good, nice little warmness, but nothing that's burning going down. Nothing
Here you go,
that.
Here you go, Steve. Bill's ready to roll.
Here you go, Billy. Here we go, brother. I'm ready.
Try it, Bill.
Yeah. Definitely.
We'll have Derek and Nick come and step in too. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to be on that. That would be great. But Bill has already got, he's got a lot going on because one of our friends here, he already said, Joe, and actually it was Paul actually said, I love Bill's picks. They're always solid, all his store picks when he does them. So he's got a good nose for it and he's able to do the blending that he picks it out right, and the woods that you got. Now that other exotic wood that you have that you had said, I forgot which one it was. It was a weird name to it. I can't remember the
honey locust.
That's the one, the honey locust. I haven't seen that one anywhere. That sounds interesting.
That sounds really good.
Well, I tell you what, when I first started working with the company 3 years ago, that was one of the bourbons that we offered. It was a honey locust wood. And honey locust is pretty cool. It's a wood that's indigenous to the Midwest, and it was one of those woods that, that it's funny. They get these big yellow buds that grow on it. And when the cattle, they graze, they love to eat the buds off of the tree because they're sweet. And that's where it got its name, honey locust, because it's sweet, right? So it's not about honey. But it's really interesting. The farmers would say that it would make the meat sweet, so if the cows ate a lot of, or the cattle ate a lot of honey locust buds, that their meat would be sweet. So we said, hell, let's make a bourbon out of it, So what's really interesting about that is we don't provide it anymore, because as we expand and as we get bigger, we need more room to be able to make, Wheat Penny instead of honey locust. But we do make honey locust to be a part of the blend. So if we're making a blended whiskey, we do make honey locust available to be a part of that blend. So.
Okay, everybody, what we're going to do now, kinfolk, is we're moving on to the Cleveland Christmas whiskey. This is the spiced bourbon. This is a lot of fun. I've tried this one before. This is 43% alcohol, 86 proof. This is spice-flavored bourbon whiskey. So basically, last year, me and Nick actually did a review on this for our New Year's episode. Yep. We had this one. We basically said this is basically Christmas in a bottle.
Christmas in a bottle.
It's like every spice note that you've ever smelt during Christmas season.
Or Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
You know what it is? It's like that, like after Christmas dinner and someone's got some candles going, the Christmas tree's there. It's like just all the cinnamon and the spices in the air.
The dessert cake going on, the cooking.
Yeah,
exactly. It's Christmas in a bottle.
It really is.
It's everything you think about. And that's, as soon as I tried it, that's exactly what I thought about. You're getting all of those, the spice notes that are coming through on it, those sweet notes. And it really takes you back to like Christmas as a kid, I think, more than anything else that you think of when you tried the candies and everything that would taste like that, like super sweet, like all of that stuff. Basically, that's what it takes me back.
Wish I knew you as a little kid, giddy on Christmas morning, running down the stairs.
You know what? I look like just like
I haven't known Nick for that long, but I think that would be fun.
Yeah. Ooh.
In your onesie.
In my onesie.
In my onesie, yeah. We'll all be wearing matching onesies,
Oh, sorry.
So let me tell you about the Christmas, which is pretty interesting, man. We love it. We literally shipped in 160 cases in the state of Massachusetts, and before Thanksgiving, they were all gone. So we're pretty excited about it. What we do is we take the Black Reserve, so it's an oak finished product, and we dummy it down to 86 proof. You imagine that? Dummy it down, because all of our stuff is all high proof, right?
Ooh. Yeah.
So what we do is we don't believe in adding any flavoring. We're not going to add any sugar. We're not going to add any syrups. But what we do with this is we literally take all natural spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, clove, vanilla, and orange zest, and we grind it to a powder. And then what we do is, it's so funny, we're such a high-tech company, but what we do is we take those powders, we throw it in a vat, and we stir it until it dissolves, right? So think about that, right?
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, I mean, those spices really come through. And what's really cool about that, if you think about it, each one of the spices affect a different part of your palate, so that's what I really like about that. So it really makes all your, all the taste buds that you have in your mouth and your palate just dance. And I always say with that, you go from October 1 to Thanksgiving, you drink it in apple cider.
Yep.
From Thanksgiving to Christmas, you drink it in eggnog. And then from Christmas to New Year's, you drink it straight out of the bottle. You know what I mean? So, that's the way I look at it. And there's some stuff out there. I know Mucky's has some still available out there.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it really is. It's a great gift. It's a great product. We're excited about that. What we actually do is we change the package every year also. So
yeah, I think these are now your new package. I can't remember what, because everything when I looked up on your site, it looks like it's like a building. It must be a building from Cleveland somewhere, and it looks like there's a guy on top of it, it's almost like a statuesque kind of a deal.
It's the Protectors of Cleveland. It's a play on the automotive industry. If you drive into Cleveland, Ohio, on the bridges, they have these guardian statues that are on there. That's exactly what it is. And what we've done is on that package is we kind of drape it with Christmas lights. And last year it was the building from Christmas Story. I don't know if you guys remember that movie.
No, yeah.
you'll shoot your eye out with the gun.
If you don't remember it, don't worry. It's going to be in a 24-hour run soon.
On Christmas Day.
It's going to be on a loop.
Yeah, it'll be on a
Christmas
loop.
Day, it doesn't stop.
24-hour loop. It just goes. It's great because you can leave it at one point, come back, and you can pick it up again. It doesn't matter what point on Christmas Day when you leave it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to continuously change that package. So if you're thinking about maybe collecting them, you can do that as well. But we're excited. We think it's just a phenomenal product. It's something that we do a little different, as far as changing the taste profile of it, but we do it in an all natural way. And, I think a lot of people really enjoy the product. So
I was going to say our comments are showing it right now.
Yeah, it's like everyone's like add it to eggnog. They're like, it's fire. Yeah. It's like Fireball, but good.
Well, that's it, right? Because there's no residual sugar in it, right? So if you think about Fireball.
I hate Fireball.
It's like so syrupy and heavy. There's like none of those added sweeteners to this. It's all natural. It's all natural. It's good for you. Make sure you drink it.
Guess what? I haven't gotten COVID. It's probably because I'm drinking this.
It's probably because Christmas whiskey, everyone. You got to go to the Cleveland whiskey.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
You're on to something.
Yes. We found the cure for COVID.
That's it.
It's
Start
all
drinking bourbon and whiskeys. Right now. That's how we'll end the show.
Yeah. We're going to down a bottle.
But
That's
these comments are amazing.
Yeah.
You got like a basket of pine cones covered in spice. It tastes like gingerbread. Wait, that's just the cookie we have.
Yeah. Don't get them
confused.
like
a Christmas tree,
like a straight up cinnamon stick.
Yeah. I want Christmas in July. I'm going to put in my cabinet or something.
Nothing like fire. Nothing.
Well, it's really funny. I mean, we literally, we came out with, last year we did like 120 cases, and we kind of, it was one of those things that we kind of sporadically sent it into the market. And this year we were just like, you know what, we're going to just start off. We're going to increase what we're going to sell, 160 cases. And they were all out by Thanksgiving, So, we're pretty excited about, where we're going, with that product, along with the entire portfolio. I mean, and I can't wait for the innovations, moving forward, what they're going to come up with. Those guys are like mad scientists, they're looking at coming up with some interesting and fun things. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, who you have working on this, sitting back there in, their crazy scientist coats, sitting in the back room somewhere, wherever you just throw them, like a little piece of toast to keep. No, not until you make something new. You don't get to come out. You just make something new. Keep it in the pressure cooker longer. So, but these are some really, really good whiskeys.
Yes, they are.
I mean, everyone seems to like the Christmas whiskey for what it is. It's just got that. How do I want to put it? It's not like it's not fake. It doesn't have the artificiality to it that you
right, exactly.
And that's the huge difference with this one. But it is also versatile, like you said, you can add it to certain things, throughout as you're going kind of with the season, starting at Thanksgiving and pushing your way through. Now, someone said that you could definitely put this in some eggnog to add a little spice to it. That would be very nice with eggnog. I think they would add something to it.
There'd be a lot going on in that palate, but it'd be delicious. This is really good.
Well, Nick likes it. Nick likes it.
Approval.
Yeah, check of approval from Nick. He's almost speechless off this one right here. You know what I got to do?
You know what it was? So that's what happened.
Oh,
so I ate the gingerbread, right, and then I sipped it, and now I feel like I need to go take a long winter's nap. You gotta click. Wait, you gotta. I'm gonna do it because this comment's killing me.
Oh, Chris's?
See, it's because of what I said. So if drinking bourbon's the cure to COVID, I'm basically a scientist.
I'm my own mad scientist in my house for coming up with a cure for COVID.
Yeah.
If passing out with a bottle every day was it.
Well, at least you have a friend.
I do have a friend. And you're him.
It is me.
It is you.
We were joking earlier about if you've ever seen the Friends episode of The Nap, that is probably what it would happen to Derek and I if we just like enjoyed a bottle one night.
Yeah, it'd be just a nap.
We wake up like, oh
my gosh, this got weird.
I don't know about you guys, but I talk to people and they're like, oh, I could never nap during the day. I'm like, are you kidding me? Anytime I can nap during the day, I'm all over it.
If I can get a nap in, there's a secret to actually napping during the day, and a lot of people don't know that, is when I was on night shift now, and I still carried it over. It looks like I have a meth lab at my house. So what I have is I put over I basically have garbage bags, the darkest garbage bags you can find over my windows. There's no light. It's like going into a cave.
So they make curtains.
No.
You ever heard those?
I have those too.
Derek,
I have those. They're on the outside. And I've closed those over too. There's no light coming into my room. It's literally like you go into the darkest cave without a flashlight.
See, I love that because it's like I don't need to know the time of the day to take a nap.
No,
like just as long as it's dark. And
it had to be dark.
You know,
when you work night shift, you actually need some kind of like a night cycle, and you have to have that dark room because I've done it before, and it's tough. Night shift. If you do night shift, God bless you. You know, I've been there. I've done it. Long shifts, overnights. It's rough, and you need that darkness. And you know, and I know a lot of people they go like this: is it wrong that I'm drinking at 7 a.m. in the morning? No, because that's 5 o'clock for you. Yeah. So this, right. And that's the whole thing. When you're working the night shift, that's your 5 o'clock. You know, is it the social norm? No, you're not going to find a lot of people drinking at 7 in the morning. But it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5. It's your 5 o'clock. Yeah. So you do what you do.
I mean, I can't say I haven't done it before. Like I'd be lying.
That was Nick.
Well, if you're drinking Cleveland whiskey, it can't be wrong. You know what I mean? So that's
exactly
that's how I look at it.
You can't go wrong drinking Cleveland whiskey.
If it's Cleveland whiskey, you're good. It's all good.
Oh, the wooden blocks, if you're asking about what the wooden block is for, that is basically part of the process that Cleveland whiskey uses. They put them in their whiskey bags. They put that inside the big giant pressure cooker, and they basically throughout the process, that's how they make their bourbon, pushing and contracting and, you know, getting the flavors out of these wood blocks. So basically what these are, when they're done with them, these are smoker blocks, basically. So you can put these in your smoker if you like to smoke meats, whatnot, whatever you do with them. I've used them. These are amazing. Now, ordinarily with a smoker, I have to go out I have an electric smoker. I have to go out about every half hour to 45 minutes to put new chips in to keep the smoke going. I put 3 of these blocks. They're about 1 inch by 1 inch. I put 3 of these blocks in my smoker the other day. It lasted for like 2 hours. I was getting smoke out of these. Wow. And it continued to produce smoke, which I loved because I didn't have to constantly go out there and handle it. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, they are whiskey infused blocks also. So you're to get some of that carryover will go over to whatever you may be cooking. So like these are the oak blocks. I have the hickory ones at home, but they're whiskey infused. So you're going to get a bit of that little bit of that whiskey flavoring is going to carry over into your smoking when you're doing the smoking. So that's what these blocks are, but they're part of the actual process.
There you go.
As long as you have breakfast first. Okay, yep. So drinking is okay as long as you have breakfast before you
That's right.
What if you don't?
You need a full belly.
I don't know.
I don't know, Peter. Thank you for commenting, though, but that's good. It might be a night shifter right there.
That might have to be during my next vacation. I might need to wake up, do a 6 a.m. live for everyone on the show, and drink a thing of whiskey.
We're gonna
morning whiskey.
We're going to cater to the night shifters. That we're going to have a special show just for you. You know, we talk about you know, doing lives. We have a couple of people that we follow and helped us out when we were starting our program out. They're from England, and they're on a totally different, you know, time scale than us. So for us to be able to do a show with them, if we did it at this time, it's like 3 a.m. for them. Yeah. So that wouldn't work out. So we have to do a show like 3 p.m. Yeah. It would have to be a weekend. So we're still working that. We definitely want to do something with them, but it just, you know, going on that whole time-wise thing of like how everything's so skewed, especially when you're on night shift, but different parts of the world too. You know, people that you're talking to, like, helped us out with our show. You know, New Dram Drinker was a big help to us when we first started. Little shout out to them. Talking back and forth to Anthony there with it, you know, he helped me out with a lot of stuff, and you know, he would like to do a show with us. It's just the time stuff, the time difference is tough, and that's the whole thing. But what was Chris Tangent? Chris is always good for a comment. What's Chris got going? Can we keeping it neat, Smoky spin-off series? I'm thinking of investing in a smoker next year. Just saying.
If you need anyone talking about smokers, right here, he's the guy to talk to. He's given me many of his meats.
Yes,
smoked.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Preface that with smoked. Get rid of some smoked meats.
Kinfolk, do us a favor though. Right now, comment below if you were one of the ones sipping. Let us know which of these 4 was your favorite. You know, let us know what you liked. Steve wants to know. We want to know. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, tell us which one of these 4 that you liked the best. The reason maybe why you liked it. You know, I know I'm not looking for, you know, you don't want to be typing in your phone for the next, you know, long 6 paragraphs.
We don't need much.
Yeah, we don't need a lot. Just the reason why you're behind it and all that. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Do us a favor. hit us on that subscribe, follow the notifications, and if you like what you're watching here, hit that the thumbs up button, please. That helps us with our analytics, helps us become more searchable. I'm learning more about that. It's been a year and a half. There's so much to it. I'm still learning more and more. But yeah, hit that button. Yeah, hit the like button at the bottom there.
You can tell we've done a few of these.
Yes, we have. We've drank a little bit. We may have pre-gamed before we started the show.
Maybe we recorded a special episode.
We did record. We did.
Yes. We did. And folks, there will be a Christmas episode coming out within the next week or so to give you ideas as to. See, I'm getting stumbling too.
Oh,
I don't know what I'm saying
You're getting
anymore.
stumbling?
I'm getting stumbling. There will be a new episode within the next week or two letting you know different whiskey ideas of different whiskey gifts to give to people. I can't say this right. I'm stumbling.
Gift ideas for the whiskey lover in your life.
You know what it was? I was thinking. We also have one last year. So if you go on our YouTube page, subscribe and like, go back to last year. We have gifts from last year. I think there were like 12. You did a lot.
Yeah, we did. We did a lot last year. Last year
like 10 or 12. And then this year we got about 6 or 8. So go out and check both episodes of It's 5?
Yeah, we only did 5.
No, with the hat. Wasn't the hat 6?
That was 5.
All right, 5.
It just took forever. It was like the longest episode known to man because there's going to be a great behind the scenes video that's going to come out after that one. Yeah. It's like the first 5 minutes. It's just nothing but us laughing and being us. Yeah, it's
pure
crazy.
Chaos.
Pure chaos.
You'll see the true side of us when we don't drink and actually record these too, and it's pretty funny. So we just want to let you guys know, including this one right here. Go tune in. And thanks, Kinfolk, for joining us tonight. Thank you, Steven, for joining us as well.
We got the notes coming in here. Christmas, Wheat Penny, Underground. So we've got what Jeff actually came. He liked the Christmas, the Wheat Penny, the Underground, and then the Black Reserve. That's his order. We have another one, Underground, with their favorite, all day, beautifully complex and spiced. Very nice. Bill, what's Bill got going on here? What's Bill saying?
This is something about being partial.
I'm kind of partial to the Muckies. He likes his barrel pick. That's what he likes.
Nice job, Billy. Nice job.
Yeah, Mikey Noons. Yes, buddy. It's available at Muckies Liquors. Look them up. Definitely go check them out. They have this there. They're carrying it. They have all these there right now. The Underground, 3 bottles left. So you're going to have to fight Chris Melendi in the parking lot if you get the last bottle. If you're there before he does. So make sure you get there early.
Like that one.
Okay, a question for Steve. Steve, do you or are you planning on distributing to Arkansas? Is that one of the ones you're going to be perhaps opening up into the market for?
Yeah, I tell you what, right now we're in 16 states, and we're growing at a pace right now in the state of Massachusetts alone. We're up 34%. And, we just want to make sure that, although one of the good things about what we are is, I don't know if you go out there and you look at bourbons and people don't have inventory and people are being allocated and all that stuff because, 8 years, 7 years from now, nobody's going to know what the interest is and nobody's going to know what they're going to need. Yep. We're able to continuously just make more. That's what we're able to do. Now, with that being said, we want to make sure that we can provide enough product for those markets that are growing.
Yep.
Now, we're going to be moving into a new place in right on Lake Erie. We're going to be tripling our capacity, and our goal is to be in all the states. Arkansas is definitely one of the states that we're looking at expanding into. And once we do, we're going to make sure that people are fully aware of it. And,
unfortunately, with whiskeys, a lot of them do have their markets that they start out in, and it's a process to grow beyond it and get your name out there to become something. You know what I mean? And definitely push it out. There are a lot of whiskeys out there that just aren't available in certain areas, and it's one of those things that it's like the trickle down theory. They slowly start coming in, and once people get a bite of it or a sip of it, then they want it, and that there's a market for it. That's when it really I think blows up, and then it's the supply versus demand. How much, what's going on? Can we get enough for as much as the people want?
Well, I tell you what, if you're in Arkansas right now, and if I'm not really sure if Billy's able to send you out or ship you out anything, go onto our website, clevelandwhiskey.com, and I believe that there's a way that you can actually have it delivered to you if it's something that you're interested in, if you're in Arkansas. So we try to make that available to you because, like I said, the interest out there for what we have is pretty exciting. We're pretty pumped up about it. And, we do appreciate guys like you, both Derek and Nick. I want to thank you on behalf of Cleveland Whiskey for giving us the opportunity to, talk to the people that, plug into your program. And I'd like to say that for all those people, I don't know if you have a pen available, but Steve Robar is my name. And my email address is srobar@clevelandwhiskey.com. And if you have any questions or, anything that you want to know about my brand, don't bother me. Call Derek. He's
okay.
Keep me off that call.
Yeah, we'll keep you. I'm going to be the only one getting any conversation.
No, that's my real email. That's my real email.
I will put that down in the link down below. Once this video finishes processing tomorrow, I'll get all that information in there. I'll get Steve's contact information, seeing as he put it out there to the world anyway, so the whole world can contact Steve if they're interested in the Cleveland whiskey. But that is great. I don't know what the availability is. Certain places can ship, some can't. Depends on if you have the right licenses and whatnot to get it around. So Joe Clevenger, if you can't get it or you can't figure it out, you know what to do. Just hit me up on on text and we can work something out. We've done it before.
Steve, you probably should have said that your email was Derek.Al.
Make sure you reach out to Keeping It Neat with Derek and Nick.
Yeah, it's really funny when I give my business card, I'll hand it to somebody and then I'll grab it back from them and I'll look at it and I'll be like, yeah, I like you. So here you go. You can have my actual card.
So, all right. Well, we're going to wrap it up, kinfolk, right here. So we want to, again, thank Steve Robar here from Cleveland Whiskey.
Yes,
what a great night we had. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Steve actually provided the Wheat Penny for us this evening. That's why everybody got an extra bottle. So rather than the 3 that we originally spoke about, you got the little extra bonus that I really didn't tell anybody about. We just sipped it out. We sent out the gingerbread cookies and the blocks of the whiskey infused oak. Those are all courtesy of Steve. So thank you very much, Steve, for providing that for our kinfolk. They all get to sample it, and it's a huge success because a lot of people are going to be running out tomorrow. It looks like grabbing some Wheat Penny, grabbing the last bottles of Underground. There's going to be a fight at Mucky's. So Bill had called the cops, get them ready. They're going to be on standby out in your parking lot for the last 3 bottles.
I don't want to see it on Channel 5 News. I do not want to see it on Channel 5 News.
No, I don't want to see it either, but I'm giving Bill the heads up now to have, be ready with just dial 9-1 and be ready on the last one to hit the other one. But thank you everybody so much. Especially thank you, Steve, for joining us this evening, providing us with Wheat Penny. Thank you, everyone. We're going to have another show next month. We're going to be here with Rickhouse Ramblings will be on with us. We have 2 whiskeys that you can't get around this area from Ragged Branch Distillery. We'll be doing those. Those will be coming out. I'm going to get those. I think we'll be more towards the end of the month in January. I got to talk to Nick about a date, and then I got to talk to the Christian and Mike from them, and we'll work that out, and I'll get those samples out to everybody at that time. But we'll do another little special review on a Sunday, telling everybody about it and getting the samples done. But thank you again, Steve, and hang on. Don't go anywhere, because once we dial out of this, we can talk a little bit offset like we did when we started. But other than that, Nick, do you have anything else, my friend, for our kinfolk?
Just as always, please share to all of your friends, please, as well as if you shared this episode when it gets released. We talked about doing a giveaway, correct?
Oh, we did talk, but that was about for this. If we share, it was going to be something else in the future. We have before Christmas rolls around, we are going to do a little giveaway. We have something that we are going to do. It's going to be a share thing. If you share a video or share our link really to our YouTube channel, you're going to get entered into that. Yeah. We're going to figure that out. We'll get it out to everybody so that you can get in on it. And it'll be the wheel of names. We're going to pull up one random name and we will send that, and we'll do it live. So it's on the uppity ups, not behind the bar, behind the scenes, and Nick going, I want so-and-so to get it. Put him on it. Put him on it. But, so we'll do it, and you'll be able to see that, we've done it before on here, but we'll do it that way because it's just too much tonight. We didn't want to take away from Steve tonight. That's why we didn't have any of our kinfolk on like we were supposed to. Next month again, maybe in February. Oh, the other thing too, kinfolk, down below in the comments, put on whiskey things that you might like to see us do reviews in, or live sip-alongs, I should say.
Yeah.
You know, whether you want to see us do a Scotch one, maybe an Irish, maybe a Japanese, something like that in the near future. After January, as we go along, February, March, April, moving along, we do one a month. But put your ideas down below in the comments on what you might like to see us do and send out for samples. You know, what you want, you know, so maybe we can do a mixed batch or maybe just a night of whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So keep that in the future. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Join our Facebook group where we talk about all things whiskey all the time. And we have amazing people like Steve Robar on with us. That's right.
Yes.
You're not going to get a chance to see Steve anywhere else. You'll see him in a store, but he's just going to go, I'm too good for you. And he's going to walk away.
Call me Mr. Robar.
Yeah, call me Mr. Robar. No one gets to call me Steve. But other than that, folks, thank you everyone so much for joining us tonight. It was a great show. We loved having everyone here. We loved Steve on. And we're going to go out on this one, sir. What is our line that we leave with? I don't even know. I'm going to leave it to you.
Whew. And you know I always mess this up.
I know you do. But
I'll try.
Okay.
Oh,
no,
you want to take it?
No. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Here's hoping that you find a little bit of luxury.
There it is. In an otherwise ordinary life, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.